What's up, gamers and collectors? DGC back with another video, and today we're taking a look at all the exclusive platformers for the original Xbox. Let's check it out. Alright, so first up we have a launch title platformer for the original Xbox, Azuirk, Rise of Peranthia.
Yeah.
Now this is a cool game here. It's not the greatest game in the world. It's very of its era. It's very late 90s, early 2000s platformer-esque hack and slash type game. I do recommend it though, and you can find this pretty much anywhere, and it's going to be $5 or $10. It's not expensive. It's not rare, but it should be in your collection. You should play it. It's definitely worth playing. It has a good visual style to it. It definitely showed off the early power of the original Xbox pretty well. Considering this game is like 23 years old at this point in time, it looks pretty damn good, to be honest with you. Definitely recommend picking this one up. Again, super cheap. It's playable on the original Xbox, the 360, not on the Xbox One, and not on the Series consoles, unfortunately. Alright, next up here we have Blinx, the Time Sweeper. This was Microsoft's attempt at really locking in some exclusive mascot platformers for their system. Now, Blinx the Time Sweeper went on to have a sequel, which we'll talk about in a sec. This is a cool game. This is very cheap to find, available digitally on the Xbox 360, the Xbox One, and the Series console. The One and the Series consoles have an enhanced version, as well as this can be played on all four consoles, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and the Series consoles. Great little game here, very cool. Let's check out some gameplay. So this is sort of a mini platformer where the levels are really short, quick. If you don't have a lot of time to pick up and play a game, like this is a cool one to where you can like pick up and knock out a couple levels and then just be done with it. And the controls are easy enough to where you can like go a month or two without playing it and then kind of pick it up and come back to it and still really enjoy the game. I definitely recommend playing this game. Very cool game. Very worth adding to your collection for the original Xbox. Next up here we have Blinx 2, Master of Time and Space. So with this one they amped everything up. This was Microsoft attempting to keep and maintain a mascot for the Xbox brand. It didn't really stick. Blinx kind of went by the wayside, unfortunately. I'd like to see him come back. Probably not going to happen though. So graphics on this game, they amped them up. The audio, the sound, the level design, the graphics, everything about the game was just amped up, way better. They added co-op to the game. Let's check out some gameplay of this one.
Roger, I'm on it. Here we go again.
So, Blinx 2 can only be played on the original Xbox as well as the 360. It's not on the One or the Series, and you can't buy it digitally anymore on the 360 or anything like that. So you're going to have to get a physical copy. This is not expensive, but it's on the pricier side of collecting for the 360, and to find a good copy is getting harder by the day because this is 22 years old at this point in time. So to get a good copy, it might be a little difficult. But it is worth picking up, and this is a very fun little co-op game that you can play. Alright, next up, we have a game that's near and dear to my heart. This is a top 10 game for me, probably even a top 5 game of all time for me, and that being Conker Live and Reloaded. I absolutely love this game to death. I remember picking this up as a kid. I had to drag my sister to the store and beg her to go in with me and buy it because she was a few years older than me. And I remember getting it home, putting it in, playing it, and addictively getting all the way to the lava level, which will show some gameplay here in a second. I couldn't get past it. So, me as a kid, and we're getting into some story time here real quick, I ended up taking this very controller, and you'll see that it's half green and half black. I ended up going like this, and just smacking this thing on a concrete wall in the basement where I had all my game stuff set up. And the controller blew up. Obviously the guts are fine and the front was fine, but the back blew up. I had to Frankenstein it with a black one. It was on that day I had to go buy the original Xbox strategy guide for this game because I could not get past the lava race. If you've ever played the game, you know the frustration of the lava race. Let's check out some gameplay.
Somebody call for me? Who wants some of the dough?
Yeah, cash, prizes. That way? Or that way? That way smells a bit pooey. Oh, just great. I thought the designer said this was just a straight port. What a hack. Now, which one was it? Delicious.
Alright, who's this?
Looks like one of them Skittles.
Reckon we should get down there and kick the out of him.
Nah, we'll wait till he comes up here, alright?
Okay then, yeah.
Alright, so that's Conker Live and Reloaded. This is playable on the original Xbox, the 360, the Xbox One, and the Series. It can still be digitally bought on the Xbox One and the Series, as well as I believe the 360. This is going to be one of the more expensive games to get into your original Xbox collection. Everybody wants this game for a reason. It is truly one of the greatest games of all time, in my humble opinion. It is definitely one of the best original Xbox games. Graphically, co-op, split-screen multiplayer, it was great, and a fantastic campaign. Absolutely lovely game. I actually pick this game up every other year or so and just play through the whole campaign again. Then I usually get into the multiplayer. I remember as a kid naming all the characters like dumb things like Darth Vader and like Queen Latifah and just random shit like that for the multiplayer because it was a shooter. And you know, it would just be like you got sniped by Darth Vader, and just dumb memories that I have as a kid from this game. And I played the hell out of this on Xbox Live and stuff, and I just had an absolute blast with this game. And I really would love to see Microsoft do something with this IP. Really, I'd love to see them do anything with Rare at this point in time instead of letting them rot. But clearly Microsoft has better insight on gaming than me. So we'll let Conker rot. Next up, we have a very weird game here. I love this game and also hate this game. I want to hate it and I want to love it at the same time. And that is Galleon for the original Xbox. This has to be some of the worst controls that I have ever played on a video game in my entire life. I don't know what they were smoking when they made this game. This is from the original creator of the original Tomb Raiders. They brought him over. They said, hey, make us an exclusive game. Make us a cool platformer. They did. The story to this game, pretty cool. Graphically, art style-wise, it doesn't look great, but it has its own unique art style to where it's kind of like, all right, I can get behind that, right? The controls are so wonky, though. They're so ridiculously... They just don't make sense. Because platformers, 3D platformers had already existed from... PlayStation 1 was, 94, 95? Up until 2001 or 2, whenever this came out. So they had already existed for damn near 10 years with good platforming controls. So I don't know what they were thinking when they made these weird controls, or if they just did it in an event to make it unique and different so that it would get like publicity. I don't know, but let's check out some gameplay of this one.
I understand you are familiar with this stretch of ocean, and so I'm willing to pay you 300 doubloons if you will sail to Akbar and appraise the object for me. If you can identify its origins, there may be a far greater fortune to be had. But we can discuss that when you arrive. Regards, Dr. Arellano, Governor.
is Galleon for the original Xbox, playable on the original Xbox, the 360, not playable on the One or the Series consoles. Cool little game here. You can find this super cheap for the weird factor alone, and then once you get past the controls being so ridiculously infuriating, you might enjoy this game. It's actually kind of a fun one. Alright, next up here we have a really cool one. This is Knight's Apprentice, Memorick's Adventure. While I was recording the gameplay for all this stuff, I was having such a blast playing this game, I literally forgot that I was recording the gameplay, and I ended up recording like 2 hours of footage for this. Fantastic little game that I never hear anyone talk about. Graphically, it's not going to blow you away. Story-wise, it's kind of a King Arthur, Knights, the Round Table kind of mythology kind of thing. It reminds me of like Mario Galaxy, where like the levels are kind of like floating in the air and that kind of stuff, or like Sonic Lost World, or Sonic Boom, I mean. It's a really fun game though, and I think it deserves more praise. It's not hard to find, not rare, but you're gonna take some time to dig around to find this one, but it'll be super cheap whenever you do find it. Let's check out some gameplay of this. Alright, this is playable on the original Xbox as well as the 360, not on the One or the Series consoles, unfortunately. Super cheap, definitely worth picking this one up. You really will have a blast with this one. Truly a good, bare bones platformer that knows what it's doing and doesn't step out of its lane. It's just a good platformer. Really recommend this one. Alright, next up here, we have another launch title for the original Xbox. Oddworld, Munch's Oddysee, where you play as Munch and Abe. So you're basically getting two campaigns in one game. This is a phenomenal looking game right here. My God, does it still look good to this day. The controls though, what were they thinking? It has a thumbstick on the original Xbox controller, but they still used the triggers for camera controls. It's very weird. I don't know why they did that. That is what it is. I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments below. Again, once you get past the controls, the beautiful graphics, the scenery, the environments, the audio, the music, everything about the game, 10 out of 10. This really is a phenomenal game. Let's check out some gameplay.
Hey, what's happening?
impressive. Okay, listen up. Find your lazy Modoc and friends and lead them to the entrance of the big well. Let the spoof shrubs be your guide and heed the wisdom of the story stones. Now get your blue button gear.
Hey, you chumps.
Hey, it's Abe. Hey, Abe.
So this game, like I said, it's basically 2 campaigns in one. At the time, it was exclusive to the original Xbox. You can get this on the original Xbox. It's playable on 360. It's enhanced on the One and Series consoles. You can get it digitally on all 3 of those 360, Xbox One, and Series consoles, as well as it's on the Vita, it's on the PS4, it's on the PS5, I think it's on the Switch. It's pretty much on everything at this point in time. However, to get the best experience, you got to get a Duke and the game, an original Xbox, and a CRT. It's the best way to play this game. You'll absolutely love it. You won't regret it. Pick this one up. Alright, again, Microsoft loved and tried getting exclusives back in the day. They really wanted to enter the console race. They wanted to get into the living room, and they did so a lot with Sega back in the day. Now, this is a cool one that a lot of people don't talk about. Toejam and Earl 3 Mission to Earth.
Check this out. The little black button lets you talk to anybody. Give it a shot.
And see this costume.
Fresh pumpkin pie, my favorite. Alright, some points.
Stay away from me! You look like a big orange huggy bear. Somebody save me! Oh no! My, you certainly are big, aren't you?
Yo, yo, hear that funny sound? That means that you're close to one of the vinyls.
In this game, you play as Toejam and Earl and your girl, Tisha. This is definitely a product of its environment and its age, way back in the late 90s into the 2000s. I can almost guarantee you this was obviously originally going to be for the Dreamcast, and then it got switched over to the Xbox. Really cool game here that a lot of people don't talk about. A lot of people kind of forgot about this one. It's a little bit on the pricier side. Not expensive, but it's on the pricier side of collecting for the original Xbox. To find a good copy, it might take you a little while, but it's definitely worth adding to the collection. It's a really beautiful looking game, playable on the original Xbox, the 360, not playable on the Xbox One or the Series consoles, unfortunately. So with that being said, you're going to have to get a physical copy of this one. Definitely worth picking up and adding to your collection, though. Really cool platform exclusive to the original Xbox. Alright, so here's another one here that I kind of love it and hate it. And that's Tork the Prehistoric Punk for the original Xbox from Ubisoft, of all people. Now, this is kind of a, again, of its era, very Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter-like platformer. Obviously, there's no guns in it because you're a prehistoric era. But it feels very Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter-like. And that's not a bad thing because those are great platformers. This is a really good one that I don't hear a lot of people talking about anymore. It's only playable on the original Xbox as well as the 360. Definitely worth the pick up and play though. Still looks pretty well. Let's check out some gameplay. Alright, so that's Tork the Prehistoric Punk for the original Xbox. Cool little platformer. I like that the levels are kind of long, but they're not too long. They're like just right. And the variety of different levels and this and that, and the combat feels really well. The platforming itself feels really well done and everything. It's a really good game. Super cheap. You could probably find this the next time you go to a game store. Definitely pick it up. Alright guys, we are here at the last platformer for the original Xbox exclusive. This was a big title back in the day. Again, a lot of people don't talk about this one anymore. They did get a remaster of this on the Xbox One and the Xbox Series console, that being Voodoo Vince. You can still purchase this on the Xbox One and the Series console. This is playable on the original Xbox as well as the 360. However, you're going to want to play the enhanced version on the Xbox One or the Series console. It's only $10. You can't beat it. It's an absolutely phenomenal game. Let's check out gameplay from both of them.
I'm okay.
It was Vince. The zombie dust had brought him to life. An unlikely hero, to be sure, but only Vince can help me now. Monsters contain magic beads. Gather them to see your true power.
Alright, so this is not an expensive title. You can probably find this at most game stores, but again, to find a good, nice copy of it, because it was a platformer, it might be a little more difficult to find like a nice copy of it, but when you do, definitely pick it up. It's worth picking up and adding to the collection. However, for this instance, I would recommend picking up the remastered edition because it's just that much better, and it just visually it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. I'd love to see Microsoft go back and revisit this franchise either with a ground-up remake of it or actually making a sequel to it. Probably not going to happen, but a boy can dream, right? Alright, last up, we got 3 games that I would say are platform light. They're not really platformers, but if you enjoy platformers, you'll probably enjoy these games, so I felt as if I should add these into the video. Now, first up, we got a cool game here by Rare, of all people, and that's By The Ghoulies. I don't know why there's no platform in this game, because obviously Rare is known for platforms. It's pretty much their bread and butter. It's what they do. It's a good game. It hasn't aged the best, though. Visually and control-wise, this is definitely a weird game. You attack with the thumbstick. I don't really know why they did that. I don't know. I guess it's to get a full 360 attack while you're playing the game, which is cool and all. You could pretty much pick up all these different items and use them to attack all the different little monsters in the game and everything. It is an enjoyable game. This almost feels like a stab at Nintendo when they had Luigi's Mansion out. They were like, alright, you're going to make a Haunted Mansion platformer type game? We're going to do the same thing since you sold us off to Xbox. That's what it feels like to me. Let's check out some gameplay. so this is playable on the original Xbox, the 360, the Xbox One, and the Series console. It's enhanced for the other two latter of the consoles. Really good game. Definitely pick this one up. Not super expensive. You can pretty much find this anytime you go to a game store. Definitely worth adding to your collection. Just know that it doesn't play. It's going to take some time to get used to, is the best way to say that. Alright, here's a really cool one. I love talking about this game. This is a cool game that is a platformer, but it's a multiplayer platformer. That being Mad Dash for the original Xbox. So this is actually made by the Tomb Raider people back in the day, Crystal Dynamics. Really cool game here, exclusive to the original Xbox. You can play it on here and on the 360, not on the Xbox One or the Series consoles, unfortunately. Very cheap. You can pretty much find this anywhere. Really cool game. It's a good couch multiplayer kind of party game. You'll have a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of characters, a lot of levels, a lot of unlocks, that kind of stuff. Good music to it. Easy to play, hard to master. Let's check out some gameplay. So every chance I get, I really do love talking about this game because it's a really cool game that I really wish more people talked about and played, because it's a fun game. It's not hard to find. You really will find this everywhere. Really fun little game. It's a very special game to the original Xbox, and I really do think you'll enjoy it if you pick it up. Also good single player, but definitely more of a multiplayer type game. Alright, last up here, you have kind of a weird game. And I say platformer light because there is no platforming in this game. However, again, much like By The Ghoulies, there probably should have been some platforming elements in the game. That being Sneakers for the original Xbox. So this was, again, Microsoft trying to nail down some mascots for the console. And let's just check out some gameplay. So it's cute, it's quirky, it's again of its era. It's not something that an Xbox fan of today would be like, what? That was an exclusive back in the day, and brush it off. But Microsoft knew what they were doing. They were trying to market to all different categories and age groups way back in the day with the original Xbox. They really were trying to find their niche and their place in the market with their console. And as you can see with all these platformers, there's platformers for adults all the way down to little kids and stuff. And it really was a wide variety of exclusives for the original Xbox. And there just was so many cool games for the original Xbox. And what I'd like you to take away from this video is that Microsoft used to try with the exclusives. They used to actually care. They used to actually want to. And that's the Xbox that I love. That's the Xbox that I grew up with. That's the Xbox that I miss. The Xbox that we have now just ain't doing it for me anymore. And I'm glad that at least some of these are playable on my current Xbox, because Lord knows there ain't any exclusives for it now. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. As always, peace out for now. Till next time.
Come here, you mother...